you go away saying, I know what to do next as I start my next offer page. Keeping that in mind, let me talk to you about an experiment. You'll recognize the company. It's Encyclopedia Britannica. We worked with a senior leader and their management team years ago as they were challenged with the digital age. Encyclopedia Britannica had a digital subscription offer. This is a long story. I could spend an hour explaining it, but it's a lovely way to talk about the importance of crafting proper copy. And you can see the original, the control. This was their best performing page. And on this page is essential information that will help you make the decision to purchase a subscription. I have to say that while it's difficult to discern, this particular offer had a rich value proposition, even in the face, and yes, I'm going to say a dirty word in the Britannica world, I suppose, not that they've ever said that, and I like them, but both groups, but in sort of the age of the internet and particularly Wikipedia, they still had an offer with significant value. But understand there's a difference between reality and perception, and for the prospect, perception is reality. So the question became, how do we communicate this in a more effective way? Now I'd like to tell you the series of experiments, the conversation we had with them. There was a sort of research grant in the form of a bonus on top of the normal research sort of budget that we had to work with based on achieving what they felt was a stellar number, 20%. They felt it would be the highest number we could achieve together. We did sort of talk them into, after much laughter, a grant based on 50%, and then we did something rather ridiculous. We asked what would happen if we could help you achieve 100%. Now 100% means a doubling of revenue. You would recognize that. A doubling of revenue for a digital offer, which of course entails a great deal of profit. The leaders on the Britannica side were intelligent, they were capable, and they were determined to do whatever it takes to make a difference. So we teamed up. And I could, again, unpack all of the changes that were made, but this is to help you understand the significance of recrafting critical expressions. And so if you look at the first page, and then you look at the treatment, you'll notice that there's a new headline. The subheadline describes exactly what you get. There is a dramatic difference between the two. I'll show them to you in just a moment side by side, but there's a dramatic difference between the two. Bullets are used to emphasize the valuable features. Specificity is brought in instead of vague claims. The graphic is redesigned to communicate the essence of the value proposition. And yes, we do something that might be crass in today's world of design beauty. We used a caption. But if you just look at the graphic and read the caption, in one moment you capture the essence of the offer. I could say so much more. But there's an enormous amount of science in this treatment. And I could talk about the way we emphasize the savings. See that yellow highlight? That's not something we did on the slide. That was done on the original page, because at the precise moment we asked you to start your free trial, we remind you that if you continue, you'll save X hundreds of dollars, over $1,200 off the price of the print editions. Now, by the way, we arrived at that number on our own by asking lots of questions. It didn't appear on the original page. In fact, I don't think it was clear to anyone that you were getting full access to the complete Encyclopedia Britannica set. And when you start comparing the cost of a free trial, which was remarkably low, it looked like $11.95 a month, compared to the enormous savings off the print edition, knowing that you're also getting much more up-to-date information, etc., 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 in formats that are more useful, I could go on and on. We suddenly had something very powerful to say. It was just a matter of asking the right questions. One of those questions we ask is, well, how much does a print edition cost? We had an interesting series of answers to that, but eventually we got to the bottom line and compared the differential and began to craft that little statement with a yellow highlight in bold text. I could say a great deal more. All I want you to see, not so much learning from this case study yet, I just want to make a point. I want to make a point that when you compare the original, which had 2 years of optimization work before we got involved, and lots of copywriting expertise from expert copywriters, and you compare the treatment, there's a dramatic difference in the way we interact with the thought sequence of the person reading the copy. I don't believe in optimizing web pages. I believe in optimizing thought sequences. And that's what occurred here. And without going into too much more detail, you can read a full explanation of the case study at marketingexperiments.com. Look at the difference. The new page produced a 103% increase in conversion. That's rich. Many of the classic copywriting approaches were completely eliminated on this treatment. Lots of the kinds of words that we so frequently see sprinkled into our power copy, those words were missing. But they weren't missing because we overlooked them. We tore them out with a ruthless intent because they were in the way of the messaging. And what you see as a result is essentially a doubling of revenue. Now, here's a point. If you've never been to one of these clinics, please know this. I'm not interested in pressing you with the scientists at Mech Labs or Marketing Experiments, nor is it important for us to simply entertain you in the time that we have. This is to ground what I want to say next in data and to draw out some critical points that you need to understand that will power the step-by-step process that's getting ready to unfold for you. The first is this. When it comes to crafting effective copy, clarity trumps persuasion. I cannot say that often enough.